At the beginning of the story, we see a killer who cleverly attacked a man's throat with a blade and killed him. But the killer didn't stop there. He went straight to his next target. It was a woman who was fixing her makeup in the car. She thought maybe her husband had returned, but she didn't know that death was waiting for her. This entire horrifying incident was witnessed by a girl standing nearby. The next morning, the police received a report. 2 bodies with their heads bowed down were found inside a black car. Detective Sam soon arrived and started thinking that the method of murder was exactly the same. This work was done by a particular man, but his team assured the detective that this person was under their surveillance all night. He didn't have the opportunity to commit murder. He is locked up in jail. He hasn't come out, so how could he kill someone? But for some reason, Sam couldn't digest this fact and called suspect Ron for questioning. Ron didn't answer a single question directly. His arrogance was very irritating to Sam, but there was no evidence against him, so the interrogation just became a formality. On his way out, Ron bumped into a young girl. His true dangerous nature appeared for a moment, but he quickly composed himself. He thought it wouldn't be right to act like this in a police station, but he didn't know that she was the same girl who had witnessed the crime the previous day. The girl didn't say anything either. She just kept watching Ron very carefully. Years ago, Ron and his partner grew up together in an orphanage. They had a unique relationship. Both were monsters inside. They enjoyed killing animals with their own hands. As they grew older, their interest in killing humans increased, and it became a game for them. The story then goes back in time. Years ago, a detective was relentlessly pursuing them. He wanted to find them at any cost. One night when he was going home, suddenly there was a sharp attack on his neck. Soon blood started flowing, and stumbling, he somehow reached his daughter. This little girl is the same one who witnessed the murder the previous day. Her name is Hee-Ju. Soon, Sam arrived with a birthday cake to celebrate his partner and very close friend's birthday. But seeing this scene made his soul tremble when he saw that his partner was already dead. His daughter Hee-Ju was still sitting beside him. The innocent girl didn't know that her father was dead. She was just waiting for him to wake up so they could celebrate his birthday together. Seeing this, a deep pain arose in Ron's heart. He thought there was no clue about the killer. Maybe he would escape. But soon the killer was caught. He faced several trials. Ron had committed 7 murders in a few months, but evidence was found for only 1. That's why he was sentenced to only 15 years. The victim's family couldn't understand this decision. Sam was very angry that this animal would be released in 15 years. That day he decided that he would take revenge. Since then, the fire of revenge has been burning in his heart. He vowed to make Ron pay for his crimes. Little Hee-Ju, having seen all this, permanently etched the killer's face in her mind. But when everyone was drowned in grief, they didn't notice a man hiding in the dark. Only Ron knew that the one who betrayed him and sent him to jail was his old close friend, the same killer we saw at the beginning of the story. Actually, both of them had fallen in love with a girl. Now Ron's girlfriend was cheating on him with his friend. When Ron found out, he went mad with anger and brutally killed the girl. Later, Ron planned to take revenge on his friend too, but his friend John was 2 steps ahead. He trapped Ron and sent him to jail. Now, 15 years later, Ron came out of jail, and the first person he encountered was Sam, who was ready to send him back to jail this time. It was clear that Sam hadn't forgotten the incident from 15 years ago, but Ron was still not ready to admit his crime. That's why Sam ordered his team to keep an eye on Ron 24 hours a day. After all this, Sam told everyone to take out 500 Indian rupees notes, and he quietly kept all the money with him. A new officer thought our boss was collecting money from us, but his suspicion ended when Sam handed a thick envelope to a girl. This girl was none other than Hee-Ju, who had grown up now. In the past 15 years, Hee-Ju, who was now an orphan, never stayed in any orphanage. For the past 15 years, the entire police department had been collectively raising Hee-Ju. As Hee-Ju grew up, she became a wise and kind girl. Everyone at the station found her very dear and hardworking. Every police officer at the station treated her like their own daughter. During this time, Hee-ju kept an eye on her mother too, the mother who had abandoned her. In her heart, there was both love and hatred for her mother, but still, she couldn't bear to see her mother in distress. Her stepfather, who often beat her mother, was someone she couldn't stand. He was the one who irritated Hee-ju. What she didn't know was that Hee-ju had never forgotten her father's murder. The moment she heard that Ron was released from jail, she started her long-planned revenge. She began to keep an eye on Ron. But one night, she sensed John's presence. She noticed that John's method of killing was very similar to Ron's. Then a new plan formed in her mind to frame Ron for John's murders. But things didn't go according to plan, so she focused on her next step. She decided she would kill her stepfather, the man who had tormented Hee-ju's mother for years. Hee-ju had seen her mother suffer so much that she couldn't bear it anymore. Now she decided to use her stepfather to frame Ron. Hee-ju kept an eye on Ron and knew that Ron went jogging in the park early every morning. She decided she would drag the body to the park so that Ron would be directly suspected because he already had a criminal record. When Ron arrived there, he was shaken by the way the man was killed. He recognized that this was killed in his own style. Someone was imitating him, and now the police would be after him. He realized the real killer was hiding nearby, and soon he saw a person standing at a distance watching. Ron quickly started chasing him, but the man also ran away swiftly. Ron was taller than the man and ran about 10 kilometers daily. But despite all this, the small man ran away quickly and soon disappeared from Ron's sight. This person was none other than Hee-ju herself. She wanted to see how fast Ron was so she could make her revenge plan even better. Soon, one murder after another began to happen. All the methods matched Ron's old style, but the police found no solid evidence that Ron did it. Filled with anger, Sam decided to confront Ron again. He found him calmly eating noodles in a restaurant. Seeing this, Sam's anger increased even more. In anger, Sam dumped an entire pot of chili into Ron's bowl, but Ron didn't react at all. He continued to eat calmly, and after finishing, he said to Sam, "This won't bring your partner back to life, will it?" The law had no way to catch him, but Ron's arrogance and stubbornness were fueling Sam's anger. For a moment, Sam thought, "I'll just kill him. No problem, I'll serve time in jail." But it wasn't that easy. Later at home, Ron felt someone slowly opening the door. He immediately turned off his phone. The guest entering was none other than Ron's old friend John. Both were completely aware of each other's moves. That's why a silent fight began between them. John didn't say anything because he knew Ron would be watching his every move. As soon as he started to open the door, Ron held a knife there, and when John tried to listen at the door, Ron immediately stabbed the knife upwards. Even after years in jail, Ron's aim was precise. John's mind was puzzled by Ron's action, wondering if it was right to fight him directly. But the real surprise for Ron came when another guest arrived. This was none other than Sam. As soon as Sam saw Ron, anger flared in his eyes. He suspected Ron was planning a new crime. But Sam didn't know that someone was watching him too. Two eyes sharp as knives. As soon as Sam's attention shifted from flying, he felt something was wrong. Sam felt that someone was behind him. He immediately turned around and got behind Ron, but there was no one there. A little later, we see Hee-ju sitting on the roof of the building opposite her mother's house, quietly watching her mother. But today was different. There was absolutely no movement at her mother's house. She felt something was wrong. Now Hee-ju gathered the courage to decide to go to her mother's house. But there she found her mother's corpse. She had completely broken down after her second husband's death and passed away in this pain. Seeing one loved one after another die, Hee-ju's heart, already filled with hatred, now became even more filled with anger. In her mind, she held Ron responsible for everything. That's why it was very important to punish Ron. But after finding out about the other killer, John, suspicion had now arisen in Heeju's mind. When Heeju looked at Ron's old case files, she realized that there wasn't just one killer. Perhaps both of them were working together back then. Their methods were quite similar too. Heeju quickly pulled out that man's records. Since she frequented the police station daily, she easily found out that this was the man who had reported Ron, leading to his arrest. It was clear that there was some connection between the two, which had deteriorated to the point where they were ready to kill each other. Now, Heeju devised a new plan. She went to a pet store and bought an iron chain meant for a large, ferocious dog. Then she sent a truckload of empty beer bottles to that man's house. At night, she quietly waited for his return. When the man came home, he saw that the power was out. While searching for candles in the dark, something sharp pricked his foot. Looking down, he saw broken glass pieces scattered all over the floor. As soon as the light began to flicker on, he looked up. Heeju was standing there, waiting for him. He asked, "Who's there?" Heeju had placed wires all around in the pile of glass shards so that they could come in handy if needed. Using her sharp mind, she easily caught the killer. After that, Heeju quietly lifted the body and knew exactly where to hide it. On Ron's bed. When Ron lay down to rest, he felt something strange. As soon as he pulled back the blanket, he was shocked to see a corpse wrapped in the bed with a dog chain around its neck. The most shocking thing was that the corpse was none other than John's. Someone had brutally killed him and left him there. While Ron was trying to figure out what had happened, Ju suddenly leapt on him from behind. She strangled Ron with another dog chain. Not to kill, just to knock him out. She wanted to make it look like there had been a fight between the two killers and then Ron killed John. Ron would get caught up in the murder case and the police would arrest him. But things didn't go as she planned. Ron regained consciousness a bit early. When the police arrived, they saw the body in the room, but Ron wasn't there. They only found one clue: fresh blood on the bed. Sam saw the blood was still warm and realized Ron hadn't escaped. He was still inside the building. He immediately ordered the hotel to be locked down and started checking every room. Then in another room, the police saw something strange. A man and a woman were both lying in a bathtub covered in blood. The surprising thing was that they were both alive. The police immediately sent them to the hospital. When the nurse started talking to the conscious woman, fear was evident on her face. She was nervously looking around, trying to signal something, but the nurse thought she was in shock. Meanwhile, Ron was silently threatening her to keep her mouth shut. This trick gave Ron a chance to sneak out of the hotel quietly. It also gave him another opportunity to kill innocent people again. Meanwhile, Sam, who was at the crime scene, started wondering how Ron managed to escape. Then he saw a blood stain under the bed. As soon as he lifted the mattress, he found out that the man staying in this room was lying dead there. Ron had already left without leaving any trace. After completing her plan, Heeju felt that even if Ron wasn't caught, he was now a wanted killer. The matter would end on its own. Now she could focus on fulfilling her dreams. But when she saw the headline in the newspaper, she was shaken. The police had decided that Ron wasn't the killer. They didn't find any significant evidence against him. In fact, the orders came from above to clear Ron's name, because they didn't want the police to be declared incompetent for failing to catch a single man. People would start saying they couldn't catch one murderer. Sam was not the happiest about all this. Hearing this, Heeju was very upset. She had decided that she would ensure this monster was punished for his crimes. On the other hand, Ron knew that the police couldn't harm him. But to prove himself innocent, he had to find out who kept accusing him. Ron went to an internet cafe to find some clues. It didn't take him long to find out that the man from the park was the second husband of the woman he had killed years ago. Moreover, that policeman also had a daughter. And as soon as he found out her age and height, he realized she was the same girl who had attacked him. Knowing this, it was as if a spark went off in his mind. At that moment, he was smoking a cigarette inside the cafe. When the cafe owner approached him and said, "Sir, please put that out," Ron rebuffed him. "Get lost from here." The cafe owner understood that it wasn't wise to mess with this man. He remembered that the police were looking for someone like him, so he called the police directly. Sam was nearby, so he arrived immediately. But by then, Ron had already left the cafe. There was just a half-burnt cigarette near the computer. The cigarette was still warm, so Sam realized Ron was nearby. Without wasting time, he pulled out his gun and told everyone to stand against the wall. He started checking everyone one by one. But Ron, hidden in the crowd, suddenly lunged and attacked Sam. He quickly escaped outside and ran into a police officer on the way. The officer was newly recruited, so he hesitated a bit to shoot. Meanwhile, Ron stabbed his knife into his chest but didn't kill him. He knew that killing a police officer in Korea would cause a huge problem. Then they'll hunt me down like dogs. That's why he roughed up the police officer a bit so that he would survive. Then he went straight to the police station in Sam's car. Seeing the car, even the guards saluted him directly. The most dangerous place for him became the safest. His real motive wasn't to return the car, but he came to get Hee-Ju's address. Coincidentally, Hee-Ju was also present at the station. She saw Ron sneaking inside, but instead of telling the officers, she remained silent because she knew that if caught sneaking into the police station, he wouldn't stay in jail for life. He would be out in a few years. Now Hee-Ju made her final plan. She understood that Ron would easily fool the police and get the address, and then she would be his target. Now, as usual, Ron started using his knife to break into the house. But as soon as he moved forward, the motion detector lights suddenly went out, and a shadow slowly approached him. When the two came face to face, they attacked each other. Hee-Ju thought that today she felt the same fear that perhaps her father felt when he was stabbed. Soon, Ron admitted that yes, he was the one who killed her father. Filled with rage, Hee-Ju attacked him and then started to run away. Ron was surprised that even after being stabbed, this girl was running like this. Seeing her run, Ron thought he couldn't let her go. The next second, Ron started chasing her. But the strange thing was that Hee-Ju didn't go into the crowded streets of the city, but towards the deserted hill. There, it would be quite easy for Ron to kill her. Soon, Ron caught her, and now he was about to kill her. But Hee-Ju took the opportunity to stab Ron and then ran away again. She also called Sam, saying Ron is after her life. Come quickly. Soon, Ron caught Hee-Ju again, but this time he didn't do anything to her. Ron knew that this girl was raised by the police. He wasn't going to kill her. Instead, he wanted to gather evidence against Hee-Ju and frame her to clear his name. As soon as Hee-Ju understood his intention, she escaped again towards the hills. After a while, when Ron reached a park on the hill, he saw Hee-Ju swinging there comfortably. There was a determined look in her eyes. She took off her scarf and deliberately threw it in front of Ron and then said to give it to Sam. At that moment, Ron thought Hee-Ju was just crazy. Hee-Ju had that same dog collar around her neck at that time. Ron couldn't understand what was happening. Suddenly, the sound of police sirens started approaching. Then Hee-Ju tied the chain to her collar and started swinging fast. Looking at Ron, she said that now your game is over. You'll spend your whole life in jail. Swinging fast, she suddenly let go of the swing. As soon as she let go, the chain tightened and in one jerk, Hee-Ju's neck broke. She died and the blame fell on Ron. At that moment, a large police team arrived there. They saw that Hee-Ju was hanging and Ron was standing in front. Now they didn't need any evidence. Ron was immediately arrested, but seeing Hee-Ju's lifeless body, Sam was completely shattered. This was a story of revenge that consumed many lives. If you liked the video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.